Welcome to the class recap for English 9 on this March 4th, which is Monday. Let's take a look at today's bell ringer, which was a sentence correction. The reason we're doing this is because we're seeing a lot of the same similar mistakes in our writing over and over, which seems to me like we need to focus a little bit more on editing our own writing. So we're going to start today with analyzing and editing some corrections that need to be made in another sentence, and tomorrow and the rest of the week we'll work on fixing mistakes in our own writing. So let's take a look at the mistakes in this sentence here. The first thing we can see is that my should be capitalized. A comma should be added here after friend and then after coat. And the reason for that is when you read the sentence, my friend, the man wearing the dark coat, doesn't like to ski, but he does like to skate. The man wearing the dark coat isn't a positive phrase. It's additional information. We could take this out and it would still make sense. So it's additional information. It needs to be separated off with a comma. We changed don't to does not or doesn't because don't stands for do not, which is an imperative. We don't want that. We want to say the man does not, so we changed that contraction to doesn't, and we added a period at the end. While also, what you can't see here is we took out he's because that's redundant. We don't need that pronoun there. So we took that out, and the sentence is corrected with the understanding that we capitalized my there. All right, the next thing I want to do is walk you through our vocab. Here's our vocab packet for the week. I want to show you some data real quick, which I'm pretty proud of, and you guys should be proud of as well. So as you can see here, this is the data from last week's vocab quiz. Our goal was 85% for mastery, and both classes not only met that, but actually exceeded it a little bit. So I'm very pleased with that, and that's all the credit there goes to you guys working hard and studying hard. And I think part of that hard work comes from working on these grammar packets as we've been doing the past couple weeks to pretty good results. So we're going to continue to do that. I'm going to walk you through what we need to do in each step of the packet. Alright, so the first thing we've got here is our opening paragraph where the words for this week are in bold. And we need to use contextual clues to figure out what these words mean. So we've got a paragraph here with the words in bold, and we then need to flip it over, and on the next page we have a set of 5 definitions, and we need to match those definitions for each of the 5 words. So you're taking these possible definitions and you're going to match them to the words. Now, since students who are here have already done this, I want to focus more on giving you the definitions. So when you come back, I'll give you a set of flashcards with the definitions already filled out. That way you can kind of just fill these in and get into the meat of vocabulary if you were absent. If you're here and you're just wanting additional information, then you already know these, and I'm not worried about it. All right, the next step is to take the self-test. So you can, if you were wanting additional information or you're wanting to check your work, and that's why you're watching, then I'm going to go through these very quickly with you. Hone means to sharpen, like sharpening a skill or honing a skill. Disarray means confusion. Confusion and order, as you can see, are antonyms of each other. So disarray is confusion. Efficient, as you can see, most of all of these are antonyms of each other. Efficient is orderly, not messy. Liberal is generous. I always think of this for some reason. I always think of people, as I heard it once, when people say it liberal in this context, like putting a liberal amount of ketchup on your fries. I heard somebody say that once, and it's just always stuck with me. A liberal amount of ketchup on your fries. Initiative is taking the first step, taking the initiative, or taking that first step. A lot means to assign. Notice this is not a lot as in a bunch. That's a different word. This is the allot that means to assign. Management means to control. think about when they talk about management as in bosses. Bosses control their workers or manage their workers. Prioritize means put things in order of importance instead of doing it at random. Procrastinate means to put off. Why do it today? What you can procrastinate till tomorrow is the creed of hippies and video gamers everywhere. Constraint is a limitation. Constraint is a limitation, not a freedom. All right, I'm not going to go through and do all of these with you, since you kind of should have a good idea, now that you've done the self-test and you have the definitions. But this section, you need to go through and complete the sentence, use them in context, which is always a big step. Same here. And then you will need to take a look at these papers, or these pictures, and based on, and I already kind of gave you a huge hint, based on what these pictures represent, what word from our 10 vocabulary words do you think they represent, or would fit there? Then you need to circle the word that correctly completes each sentence. Easy for me to say. So in this first one, we'll do the first one together so you get an idea. I allotted or honed 10 hours to read the novel, but it took me 14 hours instead. Well, we know allotted means you set, so we know it is allotted. I set 10 hours to read the novel, but it took me more than that. So you'll circle the word that completes each sentence. And then the next one is my favorite. I always like the opportunity to be a little bit creative. It says, write your answers in 1 or 2 sentences. Use at least one vocab word in each answer. Which word best describes you or your life? Efficient or disarray or liberal? Explain. So in 1 to 2 sentences, I need to say what of those 3 words best describes me. And you can be a little bit creative with some of these. And I remember when I was in school, that was always my favorite part of vocab was the opportunity to be creative and use those words in context that still fit, but was kind of fun. This last activity here, the conversation starters, is something we will do together in class, using these words in context. The whole idea, you can see from this list, these are not hard vocabulary words. These are not words that you're going to use on a paper and just blow people away. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for words that are not dead words, meaning words that are overused and boring, but that words that fit and are efficient, which is fitting, it's one of the words, that can increase your vocab practically. Libation and somniference are great words, but as 9th graders, how often are you really going to use those and work those into your writing and your daily conversations? These are words I think you can. And so I think these are practical words, and I think you can actually begin to use these in conversation and begin to use them in your writing, which is why we have this particular list. All right, the last thing that we did was to write up all of our poetry thus far and put it in a word processor to really polish it and make it look nice, so that when we go to turn in that final portfolio, it's a nice, polished, final draft quality portfolio. And that's it for today. As always, if you have questions or concerns, shoot me an email. It's on our website. Thanks. See ya.